everyone. Welcome back to our podcast. I'm Sophia, and today we're diving into a topic that's super useful for all language learners: how to remember new words more easily.
Hi everyone, I'm Ethan. And yes, remembering vocabulary can feel tricky, but with the right techniques, it can actually become pretty easy. We'll share some of the best methods today, so stay tuned and get ready to make new words stick.
Let's get started with one of the most helpful techniques: using visuals and associations. When you learn a new word, try to picture it in your mind or connect it to something familiar. For example, if you're learning the word mountain, imagine a real mountain you've seen before or a picture of one.
Yes, visualizing can make a big difference. Another great tip is to use the word in a sentence right away. Don't just memorize the word alone. Put it into a sentence that makes sense to you. If you learn the word delicious, you could say, "This cake is delicious." It gives the word more meaning.
Exactly. And speaking of making things meaningful, another technique is to connect the word to your own life. If you learn the word busy, think of your daily routine and say, "I'm usually busy in the morning." When you make it personal, it's easier to remember.
That's so true. Another powerful technique is repetition. Review new words often, especially during the first few days after learning them. Even 5 minutes a day is enough to keep those words fresh in your memory.
Yes, and one fun way to repeat words is through flashcards. You can make digital flashcards on apps like Anki or Quizlet. They even have reminders to help you review words every day.
Another technique I love is using mnemonics or memory tricks. Let's say you're learning the word umbrella. You could think of umbrella as rain protector to make it stick. It's a little creative trick to help you remember the word's meaning.
Yes, mnemonics are so helpful. Here's another tip: group similar words together. For example, if you're learning about colors, try to learn all the color words at once. Your brain can connect them more easily when they're in categories.
Good one. And let's not forget about context. Try to learn words in context rather than alone. For example, if you're learning about cooking, focus on words related to cooking like chop, mix, and recipe. You'll see how they're used in real life.
Absolutely. Another helpful tip is to teach someone else what you've learned. When you explain the meaning of a word to someone, it helps you remember it better. Even just talking to yourself and saying the meaning out loud can work.
Yes. And for our last technique, remember to keep using the word. Practice it whenever you can, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. The more you use it, the better it'll stick. You can work it into conversations, or even say it to yourself throughout the day. If you're learning the word relax, for instance, you might say, "I'm going to relax now," when you sit down to take a break. The more naturally you fit it into your life, the easier it becomes to remember.
That's a great point, Ethan. I think a lot of learners worry about getting it wrong, especially in conversations. But making mistakes is a huge part of learning. It's completely fine if you don't use the word perfectly right away. Every time you use it, even if you make small mistakes, you're helping your brain get familiar with it. It's like training a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Yes, exactly. Also, if you can, Try to find different ways to use the word. Let's take the word plan. You could say, I plan to go shopping, or what's the plan for tomorrow? Or even just, here's my plan. It shows up in different sentences and situations, so your brain gets to practice recognizing it in various ways. This really helps the word become part of your natural vocabulary.
Absolutely. Another idea is to challenge yourself to use the word multiple times in a day. You could set a goal, like, today I'm going to use the word excited at least 5 times. It sounds funny, but this little goal gives you more chances to practice, so the word becomes more natural.
That's such a good technique. I sometimes even write new words down on sticky notes and put them where I'll see them, on my desk, the fridge, or even my phone. Then every time I see it, I'm reminded to use it in a sentence. This keeps the word fresh in my mind and gives me little chances to practice without even thinking too much about it.
Thank you all for listening. We hope these tips help you remember new words with confidence. Keep practicing and have fun with it.
And you need to remember that you don't have to use all these techniques at once. Try a few that feel right for you and keep practicing. The words will become easier to remember over time. Thanks, everyone. See you in the next episode, and happy learning.